Good Tuesday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the Internal Combustion Engine Age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and motorcycles, the SUVs, the camper, the Kiefer dog, the Honda Monkey, the camper, the pool, life's adventures, the kid. Wow. Oh, hey, good Tuesday morning there. Thanks so much for tuning my channel and watching me gab away on yet another day. Did that rhyme or what? As we get over to the barn, the shop, the camper, the attitudes, and it's a beautiful day, really. It's not too hot, not too humid, a little overcast. We got some sunshine coming our way, I think. We got some much needed rain last night. Wow, hung out last night at the barn. I didn't even go in last night until like 10:30 or quarter 11. Just hung out, enjoyed the beautiful scenery, rains. Just a beautiful evening out here, and it was just nice, no bugs really. And the kid took the time to really get this car all cleaned up. Isn't that nice? And Brian too, they work out of this vehicle. And I told him last week, it's like, you really need to clean that Bronco. Hard to believe that's only like the second time this vehicle's ever had a bath. And we got it, my kid claims, like November of last year. Wow. One of the subscribers, reached out and said, how much time do you spend cleaning your vehicles? I'll tell you straight up, years ago, a lot of time. Now, not so much. I just don't do that like I used to because it takes so much time, and it really is a lot of work. More or less now, if my vehicle fits through the car wash, I just go to the car wash. But yeah, we do hand clean the vehicles, but nothing like I used to be. It's pretty incredible how that came to an end for me so many years ago, and it's just so many vehicles. It's overwhelming to try to have every one perfectly detailed and looking perfectly shiny all the time. I'm just like, forget it. A different mental attitude, just a different. I think as you progress in life, I think you just start changing your priorities, and you just, I think, don't do things that you used to. I mean, maybe a lot of you still do, but for me, as I progress, I just have a different view of what really makes me happy or not so much, or makes you unhappy or happy. And I think most could raise their hand and say, yeah, as you get older, it does get your views and ideas and what you think's so cool may not be so cool anymore. So I'm just not wrapped up in having to clean all of my vehicles where they look spotless clean all the time. I mean, but yes, to answer your question, the asset, years ago, I was really big time and always cleaning my vehicles. I mean, it bugged the hell out of me if my vehicle wasn't just spotless clean, exterior and interior. But now, it's all changed. But I have so many cars and trucks, everybody knows that that's just a lot of time. So to answer the question for that person, and I'm sorry I don't remember your subscriber name. My apologies. I get a lot of a lot of stuff that comes through, and it's hard to keep track of everything that does come through. And so my apologies, anybody out there, if I don't mention your subscription name. Wow, the 2500 HC is really cool to see a lot of the subscribers reaching out, even like Charles. He's even intrigued right now. Hey, morning, Charles, out there, in the hood. He's even intrigued now to go drive. I should say buy, to drive a Chevy. What have I done, right? What have I created? But I'll tell you what. First of all, let's get the word of the day, okay? Word of the day, I think, should be called end. Yeah, the end or end. I think it goes so appropriate with yesterday's conversation of the start conversation. So let's call today the end conversations. We'll get into that more here in a second. But it's interesting how over the years of making my YouTube channel, I've been so excited about some vehicles, and I do so much talking about the vehicles. And I'll never forget getting my brand new, I think it was a 2021 or 2022 Ford F-150 white Tremor truck. That was the first year out that they released that package. It was white, and I just loved that thing. It was so cool, and I did so many videos on it. And I think in the end, a lot of people actually picked up F-150 Tremor trucks because of my my excitement and my reviews on the vehicles. So it'll be very interesting to see kind of what starts to play out on the Chevy product, because it's just incredible on how has it come to an end with Ford. I mean, sincerely, if I come to an end now with the Chevy product has taken away the Ford excitement because I've had the Ford so long, and now more of the Chevy ride, just the way this truck rides, it's just incredible. It is incredible. And as I've shown people a gazillion times on this brand new truck, it's this front suspension on these Fords that separate the Chevy. It's this front solid axle, coil spring over the axle. It makes a huge difference on how this truck handles versus this Chevy that has the independent front suspension, the A-arm suspension, the suspension more that's typically on like a half-ton truck. And so you have this A-arm, you see that, how that's set up, and it's an independent CV joint type of four-wheel drive system. You can see up in there, I can get up in there, you can see that rod right there. Yeah, that's your independent, that's the CV joint that allows the four-wheel drive to drive the front wheels where it can articulate. And versus you go over here to like the Raptor truck, it has the same technology. So what's interesting is how Chevy has done on their heavy duty series what they use on half-ton trucks. So for somebody who came and said, hey, should I buy a Chevy truck over a Ford F-150 truck? I'd be like, well, I think it's going to be kind of more of the brand. This is going to be more brand driven. I think the F-150 truck's nice. The new Ram trucks for 2025, I think those are very nice, especially with the new high output Hurricane motor. So I would tell them that I think the rides, the Ram may win out in the ride. It's going to come down, then you have airbag suspension options if you get the high-end grade. So on that end, it'd be kind of really, for me, it's probably going to come down to brand. If you're a real Chevy guy, you'll probably just stay with the Chevy because you like Chevy, because the front suspension's the same. And so that's where I would be like, that's kind of hard, just like this Ram TRX. I will say this, I feel like the Raptor has the better suspension over the Ram TRX. It is. The bottom line is the Ford Raptor truck is a much more fun agility truck over the Ram TRX. But the Ram TRX gives you more of that kind of that heavy duty, big ass truck feel with that rumble and that engine, and that interior is so upscale and so nice that in that supercharger whine. So that's an awesome truck, which, and I say this all the time, that I'm going to buy a nice used Ram TRX all day long over a Raptor R. But if I was buying a brand new Ram TRX, I would buy the brand new Raptor R, because you're up in that $125,000, $130,000 range, and as long as you can get one in that range, which you can, the market's changing, and that's what you have to wonder about, the end. When does the end of the high car prices, come to an end? I'm sure many people are on the sidelines waiting for these ridiculous, stupid, high car prices. When do they come to an end? When does the good old days come back when you got 10, 15, 20K off a heavy duty series truck? That was pre-pandemic. You could go out and buy a truck, and typically there were 10K factory incentives. The dealership would be another $5,000. So you could get 15K. In some instances, a real leftover, not the latest, hottest, greatest truck, you would get like 20K off. And I was talking about this yesterday, then how it's totally gone reverse on the EV versus the ICE, meaning now it's just, the story is the EV age vehicles are getting the $15,000. That's a fact. I told you yesterday that in the market, the average discount on EV vehicles right now is like $14,000 and change, close to 15K off. And yeah, I can guarantee you that people out there would say, hey, if you go look for a used Ram, I should say a leftover Ram truck, they're now giving $10,000+ rebates. And I agree with that. And even Chevy. So for the non-specialty trucks, Metallica, he commented on my channel, hey there, morning Metallica, good to hear your voice, and hey Don, and for all the people at the help desk, there's so many of you that reach out my channel on a regular basis, Roger, Mark, I appreciate all of you. Hey Michael, beautiful Road Glide motorcycle, pretty awesome. Michael reached out to me last week, and he got some stickers from me. He actually emailed me that he got the stickers, and it's so cool. His young son has a little, like, I guess, bike or a little vehicle that they play around with on his motorcycle. And his motorcycle, I'm thinking, wow, there's the future for that father, like my daughter, that he'll have a riding companion as his son gets older. And that's so cool. So thank you so much for sharing your beautiful black Road Glide with the, what's it called? The meat hooks or whatever, the bigger high-rise handlebars, previous generation Road Glide. And his has like 12,000 miles on it. But I can't remember, Michael, if you bought that used or not. If you didn't buy it used, and you got 12,000 miles on it, you're a rider. I mean, he's a rider. I mean, anybody rides 3, 4, 5,000 miles a year, that's a person that really is, in my world, a real motorcycle enthusiast that gets out and rides their motorcycle. So back to the big discounts, but back to Metallica, he was like, you know, how long before this thing is 10, 20 grand cheaper was kind of the message I think that you conveyed to me. And so for this here, this is not a truck that the dealer, I mean, these are factory ordered trucks that the dealer has to order. So my understanding is GM isn't just shipping this to a dealership. The dealership has to reach out and want to build one and put on their lot. So I can't see this truck being a dime a dozen truck. I can't see this being the giveaway truck. Yeah, can I see them taking 10 grand off? I can. I mean, basically took close to 5 grand off of this truck here. But 15 or 20, I just can't see it. Could be wrong, but I think it's just too unique truck that not everybody needs. And so that's, you got to be careful as a dealership. You're not going to build a bunch of these to put on your lot because you know it's a very high ticket item. And in the end, you have to give them away to get rid of them. So I can't see that. Same thing here at the Colorado Bison. I just can't see this thing having $20,000 off. I can see 10 grand off. I can see 5 grand off. Hey, there's a Corvette hiding back there between all the cars. What happened to that, right? So it's incredible. How look, Chevy. I talk the end of the Ford excitement, but yet where's the Ford Dark Horse Mustang? Yeah, my schedule has been just too hectic, and I just may wait till the end of the week to pick that up, just to make it more of a day I can spend with that car on a Friday or something. So I don't know, but the dealership's calling me like, where the hell are you? I'm thinking, well, I didn't call you and ask you where the hell my car is every day until you got it done. But it's all good. Nothing to worry about that for me as far as the dealership. They know who I am. And so here's the Camaro where they took and made it an end. And that's the reason I'm talking this morning is let's look at what's going on in the car world and when it's come to an end. I talked about it yesterday on Mustangs abusing their policies because they're now going to jack the hell out of their pricing for their Mustang because there's no new competition. So what has Chevrolet done? They came to an end once again. They've done this before, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they came to an end with the Camaro, and it went bye-bye. When does it come back? I don't know. What does it come back as? Probably most of us will believe it'll be an electric car. The Dodge Challenger last year, 2023, it was the end of the Dodge Challenger. So that vehicle has come to an end. Harley-Davidson brought to the end this generation style motorcycle. So they've changed and they moved on, and their goal was to make a more affordable Harley-Davidson, which they did do that. They did lower their prices and in some ways give you a better package. As we go over here and look at the other vehicles that I have here in the garage, the Fireblade over here, my understanding is that's just a 2023, I guess 2024. I can't even keep track, but this is not a high production motorcycle car. Yeah, I need some coffee. I gotta drink my coffee. As you look at the art, the collection of my artwork. So most people have these very expensive art, somebody's very successful. You go in their office and you're going to see very expensive artwork. You'll see things that they've collected over the years. And what's my artwork? It's my cars. It doesn't hang on the wall. It's on the ground. But in so many ways, this is my artwork that brings pleasure to my life until I have to write a check for the damn things every month, which then that gets challenging, as many people know. And then when you come to an end and you get rid of something because you're sick of paying for it. Who doesn't know these stories? How many relationships haven't ended because of money, financial? Yeah, that's huge. It's huge in this world we live in when you're committed to having a spouse, partner, whatever it is, and you're just like you're to the end, wit's end on their constant habits that you don't approve of, and they won't give up. Yeah, am I speaking to myself? Yeah, that's challenging. But here's a Honda Monkey. Wow, that thing is so much fun. I hit 40 miles an hour across that field in that little thing. Now the shocks suck, but when you got a 250-pound guy, yeah, you got a guy like me, a pork chop, riding that little Honda Monkey. You can only imagine the suspension bottoming out. Oh my gosh! And does that thing? I hit a bump yesterday that went right up my tuchus, right into my spine, and oh my gosh! But this thing is so much fun. It is. And last night, if you watched my video, I decided to get on it and run the hell out of Kiefer. He gets run the hell out of. Now he's got a ball in here. It's the same old story for Kiefer. It's like the ball. It's always about the ball. So what? I mean, just once again, the little Honda Monkey. That, if you can buy a little Honda Monkey and be out there and you have area to ride around on it, remember, it's street legal, so you can go around the street on it if you want. It's a fun little machine, and it's not radically expensive. It gets up the road. I mean, it'll get, if you watch my daughter riding with me, it's not like she just totally blew me away because there's only so much room for you to do your gas in it. Yeah, excuse me. Sorry for the cough, everybody. Excuse the coughing. But so the end, what's the thing? What is the main narrative to where we are in today's world? It seems like it's the end. It seems like the underlying message to us is it's the end. And somebody be like, well, can't you kind of have more clarity in that? That's kind of vague, Mr. Iceman. Well, the Green Agenda is really saying more than ever that these vehicles are going to bring an end to Mother Nature Earth. And I know people have heard this rhetoric a gazillion times. But the whole thing is that the narrative and the underlying message is if we don't get rid of these ICE vehicles, the Mother Nature Earth is really going to come to an end. And mankind will be part of that. Now, I think a lot of people on my channel will be like, yep, mankind knows the end, right, man? How long since Jesus died and was resurrected and went to heaven, how long have you heard that the end is near and Jesus will be back? I mean, how many times have you seen that? Over the years and years, how many times have we heard that narrative in our country and in the Christianity world of the end is near? But for us Ice Age people, we love our ice, but yet the EV individual is going to continue to pound their fists and say that you're a disgrace to Mother Nature Earth and to mankind, and you got to give up these EV vehicles. You got to give up these Ice Age vehicles to be the EV vehicle person. But the reason I kind of got goofed up on that is because it's interesting in how, in so many ways, the manufacturers of the likes of Ford are kind of pulling back, and they're seeing that maybe this whole EV all out and bringing the Ice Age to an end isn't such a great idea after all. Maybe we need to put the brakes on the idea that we need to end the Ice Age. And what's interesting is Ford, in many ways, is a leader in that because they didn't get rid of the ponies. They didn't get rid of the Mustang, and they're still building the gas engines. But what's also interesting is GM is going a little different direction, which I'm very intrigued. This is what gets dangerous. You can get that new Duramax diesel motor that's basically, I guess, half the size of the V8 Duramax, and that damn new Duramax in the 1500 series trucks and the Tahoes, the Suburbans, that little thing gets like 30 miles per gallon. And I drove one of those out there at Martinsburg's CMA or CDA Chevrolet Toyota when I bought this Chevy Camaro, and I was not impressed with that engine. But what I'm being told is Chevrolet and GM updated that new diesel for the 2024 package in the Chevrolet 1500 series Tahoe and Suburban, and they've raised the horsepower to like 305 horsepower from like 270, and now it has like 490 foot-pounds of torque versus like 420. So the journalists are saying that new motor that they refreshed, they should say the motor they refreshed and updated, it's really a lot of fun. And they're seeing like 30 miles per gallon in a full-size truck. Wow. I mean, look at this freaking Colorado Bison. Why'd they put that in that truck there? That would have been a great package. You know, you just scratch your head. So the point I'm trying to make is the likes of GM, Ford, even Ram, I think they're kind of pulling back and saying, how can we design something non-battery and bring it to market that's more fuel efficient and more friendly to Mother Nature? And that's what I think a lot of us talk about. We know the synthetic fuels over in Germany, the Germans, the Porsche, the BMW, they're diligently trying to figure out how to make a better fuel that doesn't create the carbon footprint from these ICE engines. And I just think that if mankind can continue to strive on these ICE engines, that the technology will advance even more, that the carbon-free end result with these ICE engines is borderline possible. And it sounds far-fetched, and I get all that, because of just the engineering, the physics of what makes fuel and energy. And I'm not a chemist or an engineer or scientist, but I'm just saying that you'd have to wonder if it just can continue to work the ice age, that they're going to figure out even to make these things even more Mother Nature friendly and ozone friendly, carbon footprint friendly. But then it goes to the narrative of that we're just following the China's goals of manhandling the world by adapting to their maneuvers of being the number one battery manufacturer of the world, being the number one battery car company in the world. I mean, BYD with Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway, who invested $840 million in that company back in like 2008, that's now $1 billion, billions of dollars of investment returned to them, because that company is surpassing Tesla, Elon Musk. So once again, it's the conversation today about how we're witnessing the non-experts, and that's the challenge in life, is we are witnessing more than ever the so-called experts, that they're not the expert, is trying to direct the world in a different way and change the world in a different way. But these people aren't per se the experts. And these are the people that get the rah, shish kumbah type of environment around them to prove that they're right and you're wrong. And it's so aggravating as an individual that what they're pushing isn't right. And how do you end their rhetoric? I mean, how do you end the rhetoric of this constant green agenda isn't going to solve mankind's challenge of living on planet Earth and having Mother Nature be this most perfect place in the world, but yet mankind has been here to intrude into space? And how does mankind continue the life of human civilization without destroying it for the future? And that's what's going on. That's the people are, it's always about the future. You ever notice that more than ever we're living in the life of the future? It just seems like all the narrative is it's all about the future. It's all about the future. And you think to yourself, how do you know the future? Isn't that mankind's biggest mistake, is knowing the future? Because we don't know the future. But you have so many people tell you, how many people always want to predict what's going to happen in the future? And then if they're right, like, see, I told you so. But if they're wrong, do they want to stand up and raise their hand? No, hell no. Hell no. I mean, where we are today in this country, for all the people that wanted to preach to you 4+, 5+, 6+ years ago that the country was going the wrong direction and that somebody different would make it better, it would be better, and they told you the future? I mean, sincerely, where are those individuals raising their hand and saying, oh, by the way, I made a mistake because the future that I predicted isn't the future that we thought it'd be? So you're telling me you'd be really excited. So let's all go back to 2019, 2020, when they got very intense in this country, the policies, administration in charge, and you're telling me if I could tell you the future, and here's the thing, sincerely, a lot of people did tell people the future, But they didn't want to hear that future. So if I told you, oh, well, change administration, the future will be everything's going to be more expensive. And some of you be like, well, why? Well, it's because it's the green agenda narrative that's going to force the hand that everything becomes more expensive for mankind to be more user-friendly to Mother Nature Earth. So for the future, here's the future. By you doing this and doing that, things are going to get extremely expensive. Really? Yes. But here's the thing. They don't want to hear that. No, that's not correct. Okay, so I'm telling you the future that's a negative, you don't want to hear. But if I tell you the future that's a positive, that everything's going to be beautiful, you want to hear that, right? And so we just witnessed the last 5 years of the ongoing lambasting of one policy versus another person's policy. And here we are 4 years later, and here's the story. We all know everything's gotten very expensive. We're in wars. Serious wars. We have serious challenges on our own side of our country due to so many people running rampant, doing whatever the hell they want to do. I can go through the list. Everybody knows the list. But at the same time, you say to yourself, when does it come to an end that people will look in the mirror and say, wow, I was wrong. And sincerely, how do you get somebody to finally look in the mirror and say, it's come to an end? That what your views and ideas and ideology, they don't work. Your ideas of the future, they're extremely expensive and they're doing financial havoc to the world. But no, most people are like, no, the stock market's at the all-time high. It's beautiful. Really? And then once again, I talk about all the time, the gloomer doomers, they talk a lot about everything going to the ground, but yet somehow the consumers are still hanging on with everything being so expensive and everybody having to pay more to use money, but yet we continue on, but it's all very debatable of the future of how much longer that lasts. And then the narrative of those that support the ideology and the policies of the city administration, I think they'll go broker than broke just to prove everybody wrong, that the end that's close by from such ridiculous policies and for everything becoming so expensive, they'll go broke, beyond broke, just not to raise their hand and go, I was wrong. Isn't that the most challenging thing in life, is for you to admit that you were wrong? Who can say that? Who can get up and say, I was wrong? I was wrong. Do you see any political figure ever get up, per se, by the masses of politicians and say, I was wrong? And the only reason I'm bringing this up this morning of the end, to me, it's like, wow, to see what just happened over this past weekend, to see what is playing out in front of our eyes. And now, all you're going to hear is the rhetoric 24/7 of how this person's going to save this country, and this person's going to make everything beautiful, and this person is so great, and this person is so great. That's all you're going to hear. And all you're going to hear on the other end is how this other person is the worst thing this country could ever have, but yet we're all living in times where everything is more expensive than ever. We've got a nuclear submarine, Russia symbol on it, sitting 60 miles off the coast of Cuba and Florida. And what is that all about? We're in wars that are very concerning to me for younger generation, where I feel like those wars could transfer to more domestic wars on our turf or within too close proximity. And the younger generation is going to be drafted into fighting a war for this country because of they want to end. What do they want to end? Sincerely, when does the Ukraine-Russia war end? Does that ever even happen? Sincerely, where's the end result? Where is the end result of Israel and Hamas coming to an end? How far does it go? You just have to step back. When is it the end of all the illegals coming to our country and not being forced to hand that's not right? When is the end going to come to that? Would ever even come? Who's going to enforce that view? When is the end of the lawless cities and the drug addictions and the drug deaths come to an end? Will that ever come to be? And this is where you start saying to yourself, You want to look at somebody else. Forget the politicians. Forget the people that you're going to sit there and argue about. One guy versus one lady is bigger and better than the other. Forget that. What do you like about our country that makes you so happy on the ideology and the policies that are driving this country, which so many feel the underlying goal is to bring this country to the end? Remember, there was a sitting president that said, when I'm done with this country, you won't know this country. That's a statement. Don't you think that that's the underlying message of what's going on in our country? I truly believe it is. I truly believe that we're in a time of peril where people don't realize, especially the younger generation, is there's an underlying goal to end this country's structure and to restructure it a whole different way. And if you don't believe that, then you haven't read history. You haven't looked at mankind. You haven't looked at civilization. It's history repeats itself. You're a fool if you don't believe that. You're a fool if you don't think that mankind is the devil in the devil's workshop and the working. More than ever in society, I think that's right on our doorstep. And how do we bring that to an end? As I end this conversation, very busy day, got to get to work. The kid and Brian are waiting on me, so I got to get upstairs in the office and get ready to work. So once again, it's always me trying to figure out a word of the day that correlates with the cars and motorcycles and trucks, the addictions that I have. What am I doing next? Well, in my travels today, I can only hope I can get my truck over to the LA Tint for yet another tint job at LA Tint. What number is that? 81? 82? Where's my free tint job, LA Tint? Interesting. The GM over there, Travis, he called me like a month ago wanting to know if my daughter would come work there for him in the front desk. Like, nah, that isn't something she'd be interested in. So he's looking for somebody. If anybody out there, he may have filled the position by now, but I doubt it. But if anybody's here local in the Northern Virginia area, he prefers to have a young lady or a young woman be in the front desk who walks in so you see a pretty face and to present their product and upsell them or downsell them or whatever and schedule appointments and help people make a decision what they want to do with their car for window tint or for PPP or vinyl, whatever it may be, hood wraps, or whatever you hear, the whole car wrap, whatever it may be. They do all that stuff. So anybody out there, LA Tint is looking for somebody, I believe, and you just call LA Tint and ask for Travis and tell him the Iceman told you to call and maybe you get a job. Just anybody just thought of that, I'll tip my tongue. All right, that's it. I'm done. So appreciate everybody watching my channel, all the great comments, all the great input. And yeah, I probably need to get a trim here at some point. I know I'm getting pretty raggedy, but I'm having fun. When does it end, right? No, we don't have to end. We're going to have fun. Hey, everybody, have a great day and God bless.